Aloha! Wow, look who got fat. I haven't been this fat since oh man, last June, probably July. Yeah, fuck, man, June. Well, you want any prayer flags? Check those out. Um, I guess sometimes there's setbacks in life. Um, at the end of December, I went to a Christmas party. Um, there was the girl there, but there was also this other woman there, who was like kind of like Marla from Fight Club, and kind of like this siren temptress that's and she was with another dude, but it definitely like there were a lot of energies at that party, and I do believe that we all absorb energy. I think I think some of us absorb energy easier than others, or maybe we're just more aware of it than others. And I think I absorbed a lot of energy at that party. Then there was some whatever with the girl, and some rejection and some disappointment that I felt, and so the next night I was like, oh well, I think Sunday, whatever, the day after Christmas, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll go to a strip club because I'm lonely, and that seems like a smart idea. I think I also signed up for like 7 or 8 other dating sites. And I used to be a good looking guy before I got fat again, but I don't use dating sites in order to meet people, and um, I don't know. I think I was talking to this one girl on maybe it was on Tinder. Who knows? Which I need to make sure that I cancel that subscription. But the I guess leading up to the holidays, that like inner child inside of me, I could kind of feel was feeling nagging and lonely, and and needing more attention. I tried to give that more attention over the in my morning meditations, and so now I'm not really sure how to like give that full love and attention. Um, Meditation does still help. I think being honest with journaling, like not just like, what happened today, but like emotionally raw how you were feeling in those moments, and then over the last couple days I've been journaling with like kind of a back and forth dialogue inside of me, and seeing how that feels. Um, it sucks. It sucks to feel like I'm starting over. It sucks to know like where I was at the end of December, and how strong I was, how much more money I had before I wasted it on drugs. And it wasn't even that many drugs this time. It was like a little. It was still a lot of money, but ooh, Epsom salt in my ear. I was giving myself a salt scrub to ground myself this afternoon. A lot of whippets and a lot of alcohol at the end. So I was having a mixed state, sort of bipolar episode, and I took some of my antipsychotics in the beginning, and then by the end, I was even not taking my lithium, and this tower of like beer and Uber Eats, and my friend came over and he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, I know, Jesus Christ." And they weren't that bad this time. They could have been worse. They're still bad though. And so I checked into the hospital for a couple days into the psychiatric ward, um, to detox from alcohol, to detox from my phone, to detox from myself. And and then I got out, and it's weird too, right? Because I was doing the Om meditations, the Aum meditations. Um, just got into grad school. It's like, you know, Christmas parties, new friends. Life seems like it's going really, really great and amazing. And yeah, there's this like, I don't know how many people out there can jive with that like shadow side, self-destructive part that sort of wants to hold you back, and it thinks that it's keeping you safe, but it's really just living in fear and not letting you move forward. So, probably lost a friendship or two. I mean, they weren't deep friendships over the time, but, you know, manic phone calls to some women. And I missed my Sadhguru initiation that I paid like $300 for, so we'll have to figure out that again. And yeah, so anyway, I came home from the hospital, cleaned up everything, mounds of beer cans, for like 6 or 7 trash bags worth of shit. Uber Eats. It's been like sitting on the floor for like 5 days while I'm in the fucking hospital, trying not to have alcohol withdrawal symptoms. And my computer's still sitting there. And this is an interesting computer because I've had it for about 4 years, I want to say. And on it, there were folders from 2 or 3 other laptops, like over the years older, like video games I used to play, ROMs I used to play, pictures that, you know, nobody looked at anymore, porn when people still downloaded porn. Information from, you know, like when I like got married, you know, to my ex-wife, and we were doing the visa process. But one thing that computer also represented is just like sitting It's like because I was a child whose parents, especially his mother, only like really cared about him when he was sick. So it's kind of like, well, if I'm sick, then that validates my being, and someone will take care of me. I'll take care of me, or one of my friends will take care of me, or something like that, and then I have value. And then there's the side of just like staring into a television, or staring into a computer, and just like, you know it's like, wow, just losing your consciousness, just like purposefully turning your mind off. And my way of purposefully turning my mind off, drugs and alcohol, and that is connected to that fucking computer. So that fucking computer, I cleaned up everything, and then I sat down, connected my internet. I'm like out of the hospital for like 4 hours, and I sit down, and I start fucking like looking at YouTube and porn again. And at some point, I think it was yesterday, I realized, like December 4th, there was a pretty big storm here in Hawaii, and we had an electrical shortage, and my other computer went out. And I took it into Best Buy, got it checked out. I have insurance, so I'm gonna get an insurance claim. And I was even looking at purchasing new computers, and I almost purchased one, and I didn't yet because whatever. I wasn't sure about the price or whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter. And so instead of like, ooh, more Epsom salt. So instead of buying the new computer, I pulled out my old computer. And I'm pretty sure when I had my mini relapse in like October, September, I pulled out the old computer too, for whatever reason. Or I had both of them out, I think, because I was like looking at the internet on one while I was video conferencing on the other one. And objects have memory to us. Objects have this permanence to us. These beads, the sheets that you sleep on, you know, even the car that you drive, anything that we have these invisible energetic cords that tie into everything that we own and everything that surrounds us. And that computer represented this like center where I can sit down, zone out, look at shitty YouTube, look at porn, fucking masturbate, do some drugs, push out the world. And when I got out of the hospital, and then I came back home, and I sat down, and I started, like, it felt like I was starting the fucking pattern all over again. And then it hit me, and this is one of the reasons I put my other computer to bed at night and like put it in the closet is because I don't want my mind thinking about it. It's also why my phone is, across the room charging. So, long story short, I took the computer apart last night. I ripped the hard drive out. I pounded the hard drive. I dropped the hard drive in the sink overnight, and I pounded the hard drive with a brick this morning. And then this afternoon I threw the computer away, and a rug that I also was sitting on away. And you have to understand, like I lived in Japan for a number of years, and then I moved to Hawaii, and I you know, feeling kind of insecure, I guess, about where I was, and um, not really knowing how to sink in. Like even now, I've been here for 6 months. I still only have one knife, one fork, and one spoon. So, there's definitely some commitment things that I'm working through. A lot of those have to do with fear of fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of fucking fear. So, it's a little confessional for everyone, a little bit of a how do you do wake up call, and this is where I am on fifth, February 4th, 2022. Right back where I was in June of 2021, weight wise. It's like my body self sabotages and can't get over that fucking hump. I wake up in the hospital, look at the calendar, look at the board of activities that day: breakfast, group therapy, snack time, take your medicine time. Go outside on the lanai for 15 minutes time. Being a psych ward is kind of like prison. I don't know. I've never been in prison, but more fun, I'm sure. I never want to go to prison. Yeah, it's disturbing. It's scary. I feel like I've let all of my viewers down. Jesus Christ, I feel like I've let myself down. And so the journey continues, you know? And I guess this is to say, don't give up, no matter if you want to. We all have setbacks. We all fail from time to time. I am about 45 minutes away from meeting a really great friend to go rock climbing. And I am so fucking out of shape and so fucking fat and kind of embarrassed to meet up with him. I have a dinner date this evening. It's a friend of mine, but still kind of embarrassed to go to dinner with her. I'm so fat. But beyond that, it's it's the moral failure, I guess, or it feels like it. There's my therapist today. She said she said these things happen, and when you have mental illness, any type. For me, it's bipolar 1. But when you have any like that, and then compounded with addiction things, it's these things can happen, and they require a lot of monitoring. And I have other medicine that I could have taken, and I didn't. I saw my handwriting change and start to become shakier. I saw myself falling into spirals, and I didn't reach out for help. So reach out for help, everyone. Click, link, subscribe, do whatever. I don't really check my messages, so you know, call a health professional. And remove those things from your house and from your presence that are triggers for you. My therapist was telling me that um, she had a client who got out of rehab, inpatient, went back home and found a safe, and opened up the safe, and inside the safe was like all of his meth pipes, his gear, or whatever it's fucking called. I don't know. The one drug I never really got. It just seems so involved. And so he called his buddies together, and they all went out and they had like a smashing ceremony, you know, for for his meth pipes. Dude's been clean since, you know, and our environment really does affect us, and you know, I know that we can set ourselves up for success by doing small things when we have more willpower and we have more consciousness. Like today, me putting my rock climbing gear in my bag, you know, that makes me um, more likely to go. And cleaning up my fucking space, man. So what do you guys need to do? You know, what is it in your life that you can get rid of? Is it a ring? Is it a piece of furniture? Is it a computer? Is it a fucking cell phone? I think I have like 8 old cell phones that I also need to throw away because you know they're holding energies, and I know they're holding energies because during my crisis thing or whatever, I pulled out one of them and found my drug dealer's phone number and called him up and bought some shit. And I felt bad about being his bitch again, you know. So I'm not gonna say that it was totally unproductive because I think I think some things did get unstuck. I know some things that had been hiding and had been sort of outside of my purview of consciousness were like brought up. But I can tell you from a first-hand experience, you know, there's go to a therapist, or I don't know, go fucking camping for a week and figure your life out. Don't sit at home with your 5-year-old computer masturbation machine and get sucked back into your drug circle thing. You know, make your space and your home, you know, as clean and as beautiful and as temple-like as possible. So, you know, I guess if you you know, wanted to be a successful whatever, you know, marathon runner, but you have a couch and a giant fucking TV, maybe get rid of the TV. Just saying, you know, for example. I can tell you one thing: the next computer that I get, I will, especially because it's mainly for school, install a lot of like blocking and whatever software on it, because I don't want it to become a whack off, like dopamine fucking machine. Because you live your life in fear, and you don't do what you really want to do, and you don't do what really like nurtures that inner like child love part of you, and then that child love part of you, that's wounded or whatever, it's gonna get pissed off, or whatever part is being ignored is gonna get pissed off, and then it's gonna do something that you regret, you know. And it was a huge fucking month of regret. Hawaii's right out there, and I sat right there in one spot for about 10 or 15 days, and then I sat right over there in another spot for about 10 or 15 days. On the floor, sucking down whippets and alcohol. So, I feel like the curse of the computer, I feel like the curse of the computer may be broken, which is good. Where are my parts cards? Did that girl give them back? She better have given them back. Anyway, feels good to be alive. It's a wake-up call to see people like 5, 8 years older than yourself in a psych ward, like blasted out of their minds, either naturally or they took too much of something at some time, and it ruined their minds for them. And even this time, I was very, very worried that I wasn't going to be able to come down, and I'm still worried about like long-term health and long-term like whatever damage. I'm fucking 40 now. So, leave your comments below. Love to hear from you. Love to know your struggles. Love to know how we can help one another. Need to call a friend of mine and check in on her. But yeah. 2022. I woke up on Groundhog's Day in the hospital and realized that I needed to get out of there in about the next 2 days, or next day or so, or I wasn't going to be able to make my obligations for grad school. So, on some level, and I spoke with another of my psychologists about this today, it's kind of like the self-sabotage shadow part wants to push you to a certain level. Or at least mine was smart enough to try to push me to a certain level. It's like, hey, let's see how close to the edge we can get. Let's see how close to like making this guy die and forget everything and like lose his opportunity at the future, you know, because that would at least be validating my own view of my own self-worth. So love yourself, work on your self-worth. Everybody has pain. The video is way too long, but I did really want you guys to get the point about our connection to things and objects and stuff and energies that surround us, because they do, and it is real. And just like having something small like that out there can be exceptionally triggering, or having a certain person who reminds you of someone can be exceptionally triggering. So be careful. Love you guys. Muchos saludos.